news flash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.
Thanks for staying. This is Prime On in here on Newsflash. It's proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still phones, Papa Pafie. We're looking at two major issues this morning, but we'll be taking a look at the front page of the newspapers to see what has been reported here. And I would like to say a big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise. Still phones, Papa Pafie. This morning, please do get yourself a new phone. And if you're talking about Samsung, you're talking about iPhone, or you're talking about Nokia phones, you can get them at Franco Trading Enterprise. Now we've got for you also what you probably would think about doing in terms of changing your refrigerator, in terms of changing your television set, buying a new one. It is all about Franco Trading Enterprise, and that's where you can get the quality that we're talking about. CCTV cameras, you can also get them over there. We've got microwaves, we've got any electronic gadgets that you need, and so please do come by. And once you walk into any of our branches, you're definitely going to be getting any of that to buy. Franco Trading Enterprise says phones Papa Pafie, and it's pretty simple to connect with us. Please download the app on the Google Play Store. It's Franco Trading app, and you can also get all the details and inquiries that you want to make over there. Our website is www.francotrading.com, and you can also get to know our branches and some of the gadgets that we have in store for you as well. So please do well and go over there. Now, don't forget that you can also call us on the numbers you can see on your screen right now, and please do not pick any numbers on social media to do business with. Call the numbers that you can see on your screens, and you're definitely going to be sorted. Franco Trading Enterprise says still phones Papa Pafie. News Flash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Now, I've got my guest. One of them is seated already, and so we're going to be getting into the conversation. But of course, like I said, we'll be looking at the front page of the newspapers this morning. We're looking at two issues: the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, this board chair and the CEO have been formally charged to court by the Attorney General. We'll be looking at that issue and some updates on Galamsey. And we understand that Dumasa Konongo buildings are caving in, and we've got videos that will be showing to you. Arrestus has been going about and getting some updates on that. And also we'll be looking at some arrests that has been made. The Ghana Police Service has continued to make some progress in terms of the fight against Galamsey. Some 9 suspected mining areas. We'll be looking at what has happened over there in terms of some arrests that have been made. Arrestus has been reporting on that as well. So that also is going to be part of our conversation this morning. You can send your messages to us. Let us know what you think about those two stories that we'll be looking at. You think that we're gradually winning the fight against Galamsey, or we're still where we are, and what do we have to do moving forward? We'll also be looking at the financial loss to the state, which the Attorney General has charged the two persons to courts. We'll be looking at that issue as well. Richard Suma is here. He's a leading member of the Movement for Change. Richard, good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning, KMG. I'm very good.
How's your week been? Been great?
Yeah. Grateful to God.
And the movement?
Yeah, it's alive and active.
I haven't heard of Alan for a while now.
Yeah, we're putting some few things together, and very soon Alan will address the country as to the new direction of the movement and how we can become an alternative, formidable force for people to consider in the next coming election.
We're hoping that you will be very active like the way the NPP has been very active in opposition. He's not said anything yet. Or the communicators are doing the job for him.
Yes, if you look at the present state of Ghana, we are trying to build a collective force where the ultimate interest has to be the country. So we don't want to be caught up in this argument of when you are in opposition, everything you do must be tilted towards looking at the ills of the government of the day, where you want to latch on those who want to become formidable or articulate in the political conversation. We are not looking at it from that context or that perspective. We are looking at working behind the scene, building our structures, and ultimately announcing to the country what our next line of action is. We want to be an appealing movement, a movement that will distinguish itself and then will become so attractive that many young ones elderly folks who want to associate with her, because we need an alternative force. This country cannot be led by only NDC MPP. This NDC MPP-led agenda is what is really derailing us. We are not moving forward because of the excessive partisan that we have been able to engulf ourselves in, which is not good for us. That is why the movement is working behind the scene, slowly but surely, and at the due time, Allah will address the nation as to our next line of action.
Okay, very well. And we'll move on to the front page of the newspapers and see what has been reported. Now, Daily Graphic is here, and on the front page it says, police update on Galamsey fight, 99 excavators seized, 208 arrested. That's the update the Ghana Police Service is giving on the issue of Galamsey. We'll be looking at that as well. And also, Guta endorses GSA measurement enforcement, and Professor Awal Mohammed, former GEF CEO, charged over $2 million US SkyTrain project. That's one of the issues that we'll be looking at as well. What ORO stands for when it comes to this very issue. Don't forget that the CEO has also been charged as well. Mr. Asamoah has also been charged, and Professor Awal Mohammed, he was the board chair. We'll be looking at that issue. Now, COPEC allows SML's revenue assurance model. That's page 26. It's got a story on that. You can read about it. Exam malpractice, national security threat, WAEC warns. That's also captured on the front page of the Daily Graphic. At the back page, it says, Pecan Energies partners give scholarships to Ghanaian students, and Tetekwashe Hospital gets 5.8 million Ghana City's dialysis center to tackle kidney disease. That's reported by the Daily Graphic. Now, away from that, let me go on to the Chronicle newspaper. The Chronicle newspaper says unity and right leadership will win 2028 for NPP. Unity and right leadership will win 2028 for NPP. Eugene Boachi Entry speaks on that. And 2 million SkyTrain payment ready for plea bargain as Professor Awal Mohammed, Solomon Asamoah are charged. And we'll be looking at that issue. Yeah, are they going to pay the money so that they don't have to, go through the process, or they're going to still stand on their grounds and move on throughout the process of the trial? Now, Harakati Zamungano calls for bold reforms to unlock Africa's potential. That's captured by the Chronicle this morning. And KGL's Alex Apau that day honored Millennium Excellence Awards. That's the Chronicle this morning. At the back page, it's got some stories on sports and AC Milan, Bologna clash in Coppa Italia. Real Madrid to delay the title race as they host Mallorca. And also, Valencia travel to Mendoza for face Alaves. And Ancelotti never had a problem with Real Madrid. So that's some sports issues. And speaking about that, don't forget that we've got the Hits FM Rep JC happening on the 31st of May. You don't want to miss out on that. So come, let's find out who eventually picks up the trophy for the UEFA Champions League Grand Finale. Now, away from that, the Ghanaian publisher is here, and it says SML marks 5 years of downstream operations, rolls out upstream and minerals audit platform, and KGL boss honored with Business Leadership Award. Away from that, and so when the MC confirmation is a farce, Anodon Pre says so. And Dr. Nick Danso pegs Trade Industry Award. Spy chief threatens to reveal state secret, Atachia warns, and that has to do with the Dubai issue. The lawyer Atachia has come out to say that if push comes to shove, his client will be forced to review some, security. I don't know how we want to be dealing with this issue like this, but this is a serious issue that anybody here in this country should be worried about. If a situation like this comes up and the lawyer for his client is saying that, well, if he gets to a point where he cannot defend himself anymore, he's going to be revealing some state, secrets. And this is a serious one, So let's see how it goes. I mean, it's still in court, and so let's see how the case goes with regards to Dubois and the state. Now, the Accra Times says bribery allegations against Defense and Interior Committee. Agaga debunks Adu Wahin's claim, and NPA boss to crack the whip on non-compliant oil marketing companies. Now, I salute my MP and Memphis Central DCE says so. And the minority wants Sammy Jemfi's head. The minority, they continue to actually want his head anyway. And Honorable Muhammad Kabiru has been captured over there. He's been speaking about a few other issues, including the impeachment of the president, who's out of the country, and they believe that he's not put a substantive person to be acting in his place, and so they think that they may trigger some impeachment process. Now, let's see how that also goes. Funeral of Francis Asia Naba, father of Paul Afoko, has been slated for the May 17th. All right, so that's the Accra Times this morning also reporting on some issues here on Newsflash. Now, don't forget, Newsflash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, still phones Papa Pathie. And today, here on the show, we are looking at two major issues. The issue that has to do with GIF, and then also some Galamsey updates that we'll be looking at. So let's start off with the issue of Galamsey. Now, the Ghana Police Service continue its war against illegal mining as they arrest 9 suspects found mining along the main road that is leading to the Dunkwa Township in the western region. Now, 4 excavators, 3 power generators, 5 pumping machines, and 5 motorcycles were all seized. Now, based on intelligence, the Special Police Team against illegal mining, led by ACPOL Mr. Eric Esiedu, head of police special operations, proceeded, stormed the site at Wassa, Dunkwa. Now, the suspects have been identified as Kofi Techi, who is 42 years, Evans Nkrumah is 39, Akinyebri Justin is 27, Nana Bediako is 27, Nana Yabuatin is 19, Sean Victus is 21, Gideon Asodina is 27, Atanga Samson is 27, and Yause is 30. Now, the team has, for the past month, been raiding illegal mining sites in the Samaraboy Enclave, arresting illegal miners, polluting the Tano River and forest reserves in the area. Now, there are videos that we'll be showing you very shortly. And also, there are buildings in Konongo Odumase that are caving in, and Erastus actually put all these together. That was the update that he put up as of yesterday. So some of the videos you're seeing on your screens, this is Konongo Odumase. Now, it is believed that the whole place has, have this illegal mining thing going on, and to the extent that the road has been blocked by the youth of the place, because it is not a place that any car would want to use. If you're not careful, it might just drop you in, and some of the buildings are even caving in, as you can see on your screens. This is the damage, the extent of damage that Galamsey is doing to us, and this is no other place than Konongo Odumase, as you can see in your shot. And this is one of the places that most people come from. They cherish the place a lot. In fact, this is our own very Ghanaian musician Blacko's place. And this is where Blacko actually grew up, lived, and he's very proud of Konongo Odumase, but I'm not sure he'll be proud of what is happening in Konongo Odumase with regards to the issue of Galamsey. So that's on your shot right now, and also the arrests that have been made. But let me engage Richard Suma. We're still expecting to have Awal Mohammed joining us this morning, and also Hussein Donko will be representing the NDC. We're hoping that he's also able to join us this morning here on the show. But let me start off with Richard. Richard.
Yeah, KMJ.
This is what we're seeing right now. This was just this week. Erastus brought this up, and I don't know what you think. If we're fighting this battle, we are winning or we are losing.
Okay, first of all, once again, I would like to say good morning to all your cherished viewers, to say good morning to Alan Kojichramante, the leadership of the Movement for Change, and to all the production staff of Joy Prime this morning. The issue of Galamsey, like we keep saying, is a national canker. It's a cancer that has been eaten deep into our very heart and into the very soul of the country. And this Galamsey fight didn't start today. It started several years down the line. Several attempts have been made to combat Galamsey or to constrain the activity of Galamseyers. But nevertheless, we have seen less progress as far as the fight is concerned. And most often you see when you are doing something, you must measure your input against the output. If you look at the input, what we claim to have been doing over the years, as far as the fight against galamsey is concerned, and you measure that against the output as to the significant gain that we have made in terms of constraining it or limiting it to only certain enclaves or jurisdiction, you realize that we are losing the fight completely against galamsey. People like Erastus, if you look at this, the journalism space or the media space, if you pay critical attention, you realize that only Joy and Erastus, who is at the forefront of unveiling all the activities that are happening within the galamsey sector. If you look at all other media houses, yes, they have all done their part. They are still trying to do their best, but there is no commitment and dedication towards it. None of them have any dedicated journalist which is constantly looking into galamsey and updating us like how Erastus does consistently. So I would like to congratulate Multimedia for having a dedicated staff who you have assigned him to unveiling the happenings or the ills within the galamsey sector of our country. The galamsey, like I said, if you look at the videos that are being shown, these are not things that are done in the bush. These are things that are really being done in the communities.
Right in the middle
middle of the community. So the question you ask is that, don't we have community leaders? Don't we have people of substance and value in the community that people can run to or seek advice from or help mobilize to fight the galamsey? Because if you look at what is happening in Konongo or Dumasi, for instance, it is not a cosmopolitan city like Accra or Tema or somewhere where we can say that many people have come to infiltrate the community. If you look at this very well, you realize that at least 90% of the residents within the Konongo enclave there, they are natives, they are citizens of the Konongo community. Therefore, you would have expected that the fight against galamsey should not be rearing its ugly head when we are talking about the communities themselves. So if the fight is lost even within the community, how much more the one that we are fighting in the bushes? So like I said, it is about dialogue, it's about consensus building, it's about a holistic approach to combating galamsey. And I also keep asking that the last time I asked here about budgetary allocation to fighting galamsey, they will tell you that these budgets have been embedded in the ministry's budget, where the minister responsible for combating galamsey, there are budgetary allocations that are meant for that. I would have wished to see a public statement coming from the government that we are allocating $1 million or $2 million towards the combat of what? Galamsey. But if you look at it carefully, especially the arrest and all these things that have been happening in the galamsey sector, you realize that the arrest is made all right, but most often it doesn't end up anywhere. You see other political hands from above who are fully active in the galamsey operation, who are using that as a means of revenue generation. So obviously, they are fighting the galamsey, but they are doing it pick and choose. They are doing a pick and choose galamsey combating, which is not helping us. That is why I am still of the view that once government of the day promised what we call the state of emergency, that they are going to declare a state of emergency as far as the combat against galamsey or the fight against galamsey is concerned, I would want to see some radical, drastic steps taken toward the fight against galamsey.
But does it look like it's going to happen? We've said this thing.
Yeah, and it is not going to happen because, like I said,
several times.
Like I said, we will be delusional to think that the fight against galamsey is going to be won over the next 4 years. That would be delusional. We will be completely hallucinating.
It's not possible.
It is not possible.
Even with a state of emergency.
It is still not possible.
Repeal the LI 2462 is still not possible.
It is still not possible.
Then what are we driving at?
Let me tell you, Ghana has become a very indisciplined society. Ghana has become a nation without leadership, I should say. Let me tell you, in Africa, if you really want to change things, you must lead them with fist and iron hands. But if you are not able to lead our people with fist and iron hands, definitely everything we do will be done ad hoc. It will obviously be done ad hoc. So you see, Bahama may have the will, may have the intent to fight Galamsey, but if you look at the machinery that surrounds him, and like I said, the kind of campaign we do, the political financing is left on individuals who are party folks to raise resources to support the party. Therefore, if individuals are raising resources to support the party, they will also want to protect their source of income. And most of them who have the big purse, who can support the parties, not all of them are into private known businesses or enterprises. Most of them are even financing the party from behind the scene. But some of these people, they are active participators within the Galamsey Operation Syndicate. That is why I am still insisting that this fight against Galamsey, we cannot win it today, we cannot win it tomorrow, if we don't have disciplined society. A society that is not disciplined, where everybody does what pleases him or her, where are we going to? Look at the video you are showing, Konongo. You realize that they have actually dug under somebody's house. Yeah. Maybe with the consent of the person or without the consent of the person. And if you look at the people who are involved in the Galamsey fight, somebody who is in that single room over there, how can such a person fight the mafia system? And you see that there's a whole mafia system as far as the Galamsey fight or Galamsey operation is concerned, because there's poverty everywhere. And cost of living in this country is always escalating. And people have high budgets. Therefore, everybody is looking at how to survive. Everybody looking at how to generate income. So unless we have a deliberate approach of building entrepreneurs, and building more individuals to become business owners, where we know that at least we are 30 million people. If we are able to say that we have a target threshold of at least 1 million, we want to develop 1 million entrepreneurs. And the idea is that if you have 1 million entrepreneurs, various businesses at various stages of growth, be it at the introductory stage, the growth stage, the maturity stage, we identify them, capitalize them, groom them, work with them with the venture capital system, the business development coaching and all these things, with the idea that if you have 1 million businesses at various stages and we empower them, equip them, resource them, groom them, and everybody is able to employ 2 more people to augment their business, how many people would you have employed directly or indirectly? That would have been 2 million people. Based on that, if you create jobs for 2 million of your people, obviously the dependency or the Galamsey alone will be controlled. And then again, like I said, if you look at how we can combat the Galamsey, enforcement of the law, the usage of the security agencies to combat Galamsey.
We're not doing that enough. We've made some arrests.
We normally made the arrest, like I said, because it's a huge tax. It's a very Herculean task. So like I said, they are always trying to outsmart the system. So if you arrest 10 here, by the time you say Jack, 10 is also operating in another place. By the time you go after that 10, another 10 is also operating. So it is snowballing at all points in time. Are you getting the point? So it is not something that we can do a quantitative analysis to say that, let's say 10,000 specific areas are Galamsey prone areas. Therefore, once we're able to curtail the activity of these people within the Galamsey area,
good impact.
We're making some good impact. But we do qualitative, not quantitative analysis when the Galamsey conversation is concerned. That's why I keep asking all the time that, where is the data? We need to know by now which areas are the grievous areas that Galamsey is having its devastating effect. How many of our youth are actively involved in the Galamsey operation? How much is their disposable income? How much do they make out of the Galamsey? You see, when you have this data, it gives you a fair idea as to how you can mitigate it or provide an alternative livelihood support for them.
Okay.
Because if you don't do that, it will be difficult for you to measure. And it will be difficult for you to measure. So like I said, we should see more concerted effort. We should see more cohesion from NGOs, civil institutions, from the security agencies, community leaders, church leaders, the clergy, the Islam community. It should be a consensus. There should be a holistic approach.
Okay.
But if only government is left to fight this fight that we are fighting against Galamsey, I beg to differ that we are not going anywhere.
Very well. Thank you very much, Richard. Let me move on. Awal Mohammed is here with us. He's National Communications Member for the NPP, and also for Senate Donko has also joined us here. He's Director of Operations for the National Service. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I hope you're good.
I'm good. Yourself? You've reduced his rank. I see you.
Oh, come on.
It's still operations, please.
It's still operations, yeah. Okay, so let's acknowledge that. But I'm grateful for your time this morning here on the show. You were still in what position, by the way?
I was not. And why you as head of public relations?
But you're still there.
Yeah,
Since when? The last time we spoke, you mentioned it. Oh, is it?
Yes. Since February, I used to be there.
Officially?
Yes.
No, he's still a de facto staff now. He's still a staff. Because we have institutional knowledge as to what is happening there, so we must not let him go.
That's what we keep mentioning this. And Awal is a fine brain. I'm not sure he's somebody who won't let him go, but it's okay.
It's politics. We don't like to keep our best brains.
No, when you go there, Awal will start this thing. Don't worry. Awal, let me start off with, let me go to Awal, and then I'll come to Mr. Fuseni. Awal, so the issue of Galamsey, now we've made some progress, some arrest and all of that, but we believe now Richard mentions that even in the next 4 years we'll be able to make any difference from what we're seeing.
I think let me say good morning to our cherished viewers and good morning to my brother. This is the first time I'm meeting him since he was given the appointment as Deputy CEO for NDC. Congratulations. I think I largely agree with him if really that is what he said, if really that is what Richard said, that in the next 4 years, looking at what is happening, it will be difficult for us to really achieve any meaningful impact. That is true. Because, you see, this government has not done anything exceptional, anything different from what we're doing.
So they've done something that is not exceptional.
I'm saying that. You see, when we came in 2017, the first thing we did was to ban legal small-scale mining for 2 years. We trained them at UMAT. After that, they came back in 2019. In 2020, they started destroying our water bodies. So we started the Operation Vanguard. We did Operation Halt. We started burning excavators, arresting people, sending them to courts, getting convictions and so on. Within the same period, the president today, the candidate then, said that when he even is elected as president, he will even give those who were incarcerated by a competent court of jurisdiction amnesty for them to come back and further destroy our water bodies. They said our plan was not the best plan. It's true. We felt that, indeed, we have done all these things. Seizure of excavators, burning them, arresting people, deportation. At a point in time when we even did deportations, people were against deportations. You and I, you were part of those who said, don't deport them, jail them. We went further to even amend our laws so that whoever is arrested on the soil of this country who is a foreigner will have to be sent to up to 25 years in jail and later deported. We did all these things. Now this government comes in. They still continue what we were doing. When, in fact, when you check what Dr. Bawumia has written, Dr. Bawumia said that from hindsight, from what we have done so far, I think the militant option is not the best option. The best option is for us to get geological survey, to do the survey of the areas and see where there are gold. Then we give it to the community as community mining. They will safeguard their water bodies and the forest. Because tomorrow if you go there and you see someone destroying the water, you know that is the community because they were the people giving these things. But this government has come in. They are continuing what we were doing, that Ghanaians voted us out. Arresting. To the extent that they even had to break some laws. Muntaka announced to us, the Interior Minister, that he has deported over 100 people, which is an illegality. He's supposed to prosecute them, send them to court. They are jailed. After the jail sentence, they are deported back so that tomorrow they will not find any incentive to come back. If you send them to Nsawam, you send them to any of our prisons here, they go there, they suffer, they do hard labor. After that, they are deported to their home country. They will not come back again. But they have all the monies. They've exported all the monies to their countries. Just after that, then you come in and the person is deported back to his country to go and enjoy his booty. So it's true that this government has not shown any fidelity that he will be able to do anything meaningful with the fight against Galamsey. No one is saying that it's an event. No one is saying that you'll be able to stem the tide, change it overnight. That is not happening. Even in Australia, even in South Africa, there are still illegal miners. But it is minimal in terms of the destruction of our forests and even the water bodies. It's minimal because there are some measures that have been put in place to curb it. You cannot eradicate it, but you can control it to the barest minimum. But unfortunately, we're not seeing anything different. At a point in time, we're told that there will be blue guards. Where are they? What have they done? Can they tell us what
they've been deployed to the various...
They've been deployed, but these are some few people who were deployed to just one area. That's Western region. Eastern region. Galamsey is west. 3 days ago, whilst coming from Kumasi, fortunately, he also travels every weekend because the family is there. Whilst coming from Kumasi, I sat in a bus. I didn't drive, so I sat in a bus. And I met someone, and he was telling me, I was asking, how did you get here? Osino, from Linda to Enyinam, they are doing it within the township. So I asked him, fortunately he's from Osino, I asked him, how did we get here? He said, now, within the township, you see what you saw at Odumasi? For them, they don't even have any control over it because it's underground. Someone is doing it from somewhere and will eat through the underground and get to where their houses are. So they don't have any option. Their houses might cave in. But when you go to Osino and Anyinam Township, it is within the township that is done. And I'm told that if in your house you have some there, and you can sell the house for the person to dig it, or give it out for the person to dig it.
And it pays well?
Yes, because they will give you good money so that you go and build elsewhere. And I ask, so, well, the person will give it out, then you go and build elsewhere. Later, the land will be reclaimed, then you come and take it. He said, no, the land will belong to the chief because you were given to build. And you have sold it. So if the land is lying there bare, because you see, after the reclamation, it takes about 10 years for you to build something meaningful over there. So that is the problem we're facing today in this country. You see, Erastus has not been reporting from Eastern region. He's only reporting in only Ashanti region and some parts of Western region. That is how grave it is. I'm surprised that Richard is telling us that it is a concerted effort by everyone. The Galamsey fight was started by the civil society organizations. They started, the civil society group. In 2017, you had Ken Ashibe, who was at the forefront, declaring that the president must ban legal mining. We did that.
He's still doing the same thing?
He's still telling the government that they declare the state of emergency, that you supported us to bastardize the former government. The government is telling us that they can't do state of emergency. Mustafa Bandi is saying that if they declare state of emergency, they will not get investors in this country. The minister is saying that they cannot declare state of emergency. They cannot even repeal the LI, that they were on our neck to the extent that you had the academia, Professor Jampo and his people, declaring strike because they said we have to repeal that law. Today, they said they will only amend it because they can't repeal it. And when you check what they will amend, it is only taking away the powers of the president to give concession in the forest reserve. But the minister can do it. They will tell you, well, there's a rigmarole to get to that, whatever be the case. Even the normal license, you have to pass through about 4 institutions to be able to get the normal license. The EPA, the community, because you have to engage the community, you have to engage the Forestry Commission, you have to engage the Minerals Commission. A whole lot of rigmarole, but people still get it. What we want to see is a commitment by this government. Because you see, how do you also expect commitment from this government when they are saying that those already in jail, they will bring them out? This is what the president consistently said.
But they haven't done that yet.
So you see, now, do you have the temerity to send someone to jail again? It will be a broken promise. It will be a broken promise. You promise that those who were sentenced by a competent court of jurisdiction, you get them out. You know the big fishes, they are the people you will arrest. You arrested some 19 people some 3 weeks ago. The 19 people, you said you arrested them in the Tanonim rainforest. You arrested some cars. You see
some excavators as well,
cars and excavators of them. Then you came out to say it belongs to me. You brought us a documentary that the minister was shedding that crocodile tears. After the documentary, Wontumi told you that send me to court if really it is true, because the excavators were registered by someone. The pickups were registered by someone. If you go to DVLA, you will see who registered the pickups, who imported them, who registered them. He said he is not the one, to the extent that you went and freezed his accounts. Now Wontumi has countersued the government for doing this. So the question is, what is happening to the people you have already arrested? You see, that is the problem with this government.
Okay, wrap up.
They like the media trial. They would like to always come into the media to bastardize people and destroy the images of people. That is what this government is fond of doing in the last 4 years, in the last 4 months. In the last 4 months. There is no single case that has been sent to court, convicted. There's no single big fish that they told us. The president told us that there are big fishes behind the curtains. They are those behind the galamsey. And he will give amnesty to those who were jailed so that they will be able to give him information of the big fishes. How many of them have they been able to identify and arrest?
Okay, very well. Thanks. Well, let me move on to Fuseni Donko. Fuseni.
My brother, thank you so much for having me. And good morning to my co-panelists, and good morning to everyone watching us. I think we are mixing the points in a way. I can understand my brother Awal so well. And Mr. Richard, yes, I may not agree with some of his choice of words, because if you see the country that lacks leadership, Ghana is not looking like a country without a leader.
Maybe from where he says
a country without a leader will not see the dollar coming down, the fuel coming down, and those things will be happening. Even I cannot be here today speaking on even if there is no leader in the country. So yeah, there could be a few challenges here and there, but Ghana definitely has a new hope now, and I think we're all waking up to a new dawn. On the side of my brothers on the MPP side, yes, when you speak about the fight about Galamsey, I can understand that he feels there is nothing happening. Because you see, my brother, during President Mills's time, in fact, President Rawlings' time, you dare not even enter the forest. Those days, because at least we all know the persona of President Rawlings. From President Kufuor's time, people started getting bold a bit, started attacking forest reserve for timber cultivation. Rawlings' time, even forest reserve for timber cultivation, you were even scared. But that was the time they started venturing into our timber concessions, started cutting teaks that Rawlings planted in 1996. So those things started. Then Atamils came. You realized that Galamsey started from Kufuor's time. He started doing something about it, but it wasn't to this scale. Atamils' time came. Yes, there were some issues of Galamsey. The ministers started fighting it all the way to John Mahama. You see, so there was a particular bar that all those presidents actually lifted to a point that they were all being measured by. Unfortunately for us, when Anado came, he took off the bar and put it on the ground. and walked over it. So there was no measurement again.
Even after banning?
What ban? You see, that was the most...
that was just a mirage.
It wasn't even like it was a scam. Because it was just like, ban it, sack all those you perceive not to be politically aligned to you, arrogate it to your political cronies.
That's what happened?
That was what happened in the case of the so-called community mining. It was just something they distributed to their party foot soldiers, especially their Delta forces, Invisible forces, and the Crocodiles and the Kandahar boys, because they needed a place for them. So the community mining was one of the avenues they created for those particular groups. So how can you ban something? You go and train the people, you bring the people back, then it becomes worse. Like, yes, Galamsey was happening, but the scale at which we saw Galamsey under Nanado was worse than every other government.
It's the reason that the people said they want you to come and change it.
That is the... So
you campaigned on state emergency.
As I speak to you right now, there were 9 forest reserves, strict forest reserves, that were actually being mined by Galamsey. They were actually being occupied by Galamsey operators. It was a no-go area even for the Forestry Commission. As I speak to you now, 7 out of those forest reserves have been reclaimed.
2 of them have gone back again.
But they are still being fought. According to even the
So how do you reclaim and not able to hold on to it? And then you let the people come back for it again. Now you have to go back again and start reclaiming it again.
In 4 months, in 4 years, they were no-go area. In 4 months, somebody has been able to reclaim 7 out of the 9. 2, they are still...
Which is impressive. But
that is what I'm trying to say. If you say there is
what's the cost? What's the cost then? What's the cost if you reclaim and then they come back and take it back from you again?
Galamsey is not like school time, we are going to school, closing time, we've closed. Galamsey is like something very illegal. The forest we are talking about is not like this studio. It's a very vast area. Some span to about almost 100 kilometers square.
So the government does not have the capacity to ensure that once we reclaim, we're able to hold on to it?
You can't
because
hold
it's vast?
you can't hold on to a
we'll keep losing
forest reserve.
So we'll keep losing them then.
You see, it's not like you go and sack them here today, they go back to the same place. No. You sack them here today, in the night you find them
so it's
another
capacity.
Place. And they are
That's what I'm asking, that we don't have the capacity
it is not
to ensure that all the other places...
Unless you say we will have to dedicate a standby army to man those forest reserves, it is not going to be an easy thing.
So it's capacity at the end of the day. We don't have...
How did we succeed in reclaiming all the 7? What is the problem with the other 2? Even the other 2, just last week, another group was arrested again. But it didn't stop another group from venturing again. You see, I understand a bit about the indiscipline. Aside the indiscipline in the fight against Galamsey, there is this dangerous greed. Mr. Richard, to your shock and dismay, some of even the Galamsey operators are unemployable. Because what they make at the Galamsey sites, put them in any office, they won't.
They won't. Because they're making good money from that.
That is the point. So their lifestyle, the way they've tuned their lifestyle now, any lifestyle that will seek to curtail, any activity that will seek to curtail that lifestyle they live as Galamsey operators, they can't survive. That is where some of them have gotten to. That is why they are so daring. Otherwise, why would you engage in this suicidal criminality?
It's crazy.
Because aside it being criminal, this is suicidal. Because this building can cave in at any time. There's no rock there. It's just sand and probably clay. And sincerely speaking, I think it's time we start arresting some of the landowners too.
Those who give them out?
Yes.
For the people to mind them?
In the western region, yes, some of the cocoa farmers will tell you those who are surviving now are even just the rubber farmers. Because they will price you what you cannot even afford. But the cocoa farmers, their prices are a bit low. And some of them really personally gives them out willingly. If they are not forest reserve, but some of even the cocoa farmers, they give their own.
Because they're not making money from cocoa plants.
That's what they claim.
Dealing with cocoa.
No, you see, that is where
another problem.
The greed comes in, because your grandfather might have left you a cocoa farm of about, let's say, 10 acres. That is what you've been cultivating yearly. Then somebody comes and says, within a day, I can give you 100,000 Ghana cedis. That is maybe big money compared to the yearly sales you may be getting.
Yeah, especially with what cocoa, farmers have gone through over the years.
That is where the greed comes in, because he doesn't see that after selling my cocoa, what is the effect of this particular operation on maybe even the water bodies close by. They don't look at that. It is just about what I am getting. So this particular landowner or this particular house owner, oh, my house is old. It's an old house. Somebody comes and say, oh, listen, I'm giving you money that can build you a new house. He takes the money and leaves and gives, oh, go and break it down and take whatever you want to take. But that is where even the local assembly also comes in, because yes, the person is sitting on gold, the farm may be on gold, but he doesn't have the ultimate right. Once it is not the surface land that he's selling for building, if he's selling the land for something exploitative, the district assembly must come in. The enforcement agencies must come in.
Your government is in power. What are you doing?
That is what I'm saying. So I'm not surprised.
Are we going to push these people to do the right thing? Are we going to push the district assemblies to do the right thing?
Instead of just chasing after the criminals who are doing this, we should be arresting landowners and owners of properties like this. Because why do you give this out?
Is that what the government is ready to do?
Why not?
So why is it not happening then?
That is why I'm telling you that, you see, it's a process.
You've got 4 months now.
Yes.
And
4 months now.
People believe that they've not seen too much of what you have done in terms of Galamsey.
My point is that if your cameras went there today and the people were still seen brazenly working, that would have been a headache for me. But at least now we know they've run away. By all means, once you shine the light on it, attention has gone there. I'm sure, I don't know whether Konongo MC has been confirmed yet or not.
No, well, as far as this is concerned.
But then the district security council has a duty to stop this. And they have a duty to deal with this particular activity. So I'm sure once it has come up now, by all means, attention has been given to it. And that is one also part of the fight against Galamsey, that the media is also supposed to help us. Because you realize that most of the places your own colleague, my brother Erastus Asaridonko does, most of the places he shines the light on, action goes there immediately. And unlike, he reported on one case to my brothers and said, listen, at least now, when I make noise, there is action. During your time, I make noise and there is no action. A vice presidential candidate will say, listen, we will not stop them today, we will not stop them tomorrow. You have a whole campaign manager say, we will not ban it today, we will not ban it tomorrow. But at least, we have declared it an illegality. We are fighting it. We are making progress. A time will come, you and I will say, oh, at least now there is progress. How do you, and the airline he spoke about, the new airline is to revoke the old one. It is not supposed to amend the old one, no. It is supposed to revoke it, banning mining activity in the forest reserve altogether. So it is not correct when you say, oh, we didn't say we are revoking it, we are just amending it.
Well, that's what was communicated.
No, the new airline now is revoking the old one.
Which new airline again? Repeal the old one, that's all.
Oh, what is your problem?
That's the problem. The problem is that you said you repeal it. It will not be in our books. Why bring another airline to
proper one that will deal with all the excesses? That will not
repeal it so that it stands like this.
Do you understand?
So you revoke the old one,
yes,
and then you bring
a new one with guidelines, proper guidelines that will make sure that our forest areas and even our river bodies are no-go areas.
And when are we looking at this? Is this something that it's in the... I understand that it's in process.
Once Parliament is in session, I'm sure this thing will go through. Now they are on recess.
Yeah.
Once they come back, this thing has been pushed already to them, so I'm sure it will go through. But my point is that as we are doing now, let's keep shining the light. And I commend multimedia for this. Let's keep shining the light. At least now when you shine the light, whenever there is light, action follows the light that you shine. I'm sure this particular, excuse me to say, suicidal.
We'll be getting some update from Erasmus in the course of the week.
I'm sure by all means it will happen.
But this one, when you arrest the landowner, it's difficult because you see, according to Erastus, this is supposed to be underground. Someone is doing somewhere, and it's affecting the people here. You understand? Because there are no excavators here. The excavators are down there.
Yeah.
So someone is doing it, and you are in your house.
But how do you trace it to the person that is doing it?
No, my point is that
it's not the same, and it shouldn't be that far from where the building is, right?
Sometimes it's far. They come down like this,
if it's far,
and they can do 1 kilometer underground to where you are.
So it means that it will take a long time for them to get to where they've got into right now, if it's far.
Yes.
No, you see, what I'm trying to explain is that in the case of the cocoa farmers
and the houses like Osino, where you will see in the heart of the town, they're just there doing it.
The case of Osino, when I attacked them, I think back in October or November or so, I think the DC's response was that, especially just in front of the district assembly, it was that, that place was a community mining. Osino, Asankrego.
In that area?
That was what they claimed.
Yes.
That was, later on we got to know that it was somebody with powers acting, pretending to be doing community mining.
Because doing community mining,
but you see now it goes beyond where he's talking about. Initially, that is the only place and close to the police station where you've been reporting about it and so on. But this one, it is within the township. You see a house here, then you see.
But it was sure going to move to that area. I mean, it's not something from where we're talking about.
So it is west now.
It's definitely going to move into that area.
My point clearly is that at least for now, this government has shown commitment that it is not something it is going to.
So in your opinion, you've done way better than the NPP did in 4 months?
My brother, since truth be told, if somebody looked on for our forest reserve to be, excuse me to say, confiscated by galamseyers, they actually took custody of it. And somebody within 4 months has been able to chase those galamseyers out of 7 of them, still chasing people out of even the remaining 2, as I speak to you today. People are not so emboldened now to do galamsey. They do it and run away. But it's a fight we are sustaining. We are not leaving it and saying, let everybody can go and do it as it was being done in the past. For me, there is hope. Let's continue the fight. Let's continue the advocacy. I commend you for shining the light. Like he's saying, let's expand the scope of the light. Eastern region, thank God, Shafran place, there is no galaxy. Our only headache is the Fulanis and the rosewood.
The way it's moving, I'll come to you, Richard. The way things are moving, you are not sure of any
Afran
place.
River is only hydrocarbons and fish. You won't get any gold in the Afran River. So don't come there anytime soon. And there are a lot of wild snakes too there, so they are welcome to attend.
According to research, everywhere we're sitting in gold everywhere in this country. Look at the new discovery in the Upper East, in the rocks.
They go after the commercial quantities.
Exactly.
Yes, there are traces of gold everywhere in Ghana, but
we can do it and do it well.
That is the point.
All these things that we are facing.
That is the point. We are fighting the greed, though. The greed is part of it. The greed.
I agree with Richard that leadership is very important. Can I just do the
Yes. And I'm going to read Richard.
According to my brother, there was a lift of some bar which Akufo-Addo brought it down. It was worse in 2016. The reason when we came in, we did a ban for 2 years. If it was just okay, you remember, President Mahama had to throw his hand in despair to say that Chebi is the headquarters of Galamsey. He said it whilst he was president of Ghana at that time.
It's like...
Yes, he said the place is even like the headquarters of Galamsey. He threw his hands in despair. Again, until Aisha Wan was arrested in 2017, I never knew Aisha Wan was not a Ghanaian. She was the reason Enokinsia was removed as regional liaison officer in Ashanti region. He antagonized her, seized the equipment and so on. So you're telling me that It was not worse under Mahama. It was worse under Mahama because under Mills, we didn't see all these greed. It was under Mahama that we saw all this, to the extent that the media had to come in and tell the president, ban it. We banned it for 2 years. After banning for 2 years, you remember when we were training the 3,000 of them at UMAT? The NDC came out to say that we want to take the licenses from those who are not NDC. There is no single NDC person who lost his license. Have you ever heard anyone making press conference telling people that he lost his license in 2020 when they were given back? None of them lost their licenses. None of them lost their concessions. How do you lose your? How do you lose your?
But I'm sure they would have come out to
no one.
No, you see.
So it was just something that they were talking about. You understand? We were talking about a small scale miners.
They were give it to your people.
They were giving back. No one has come out to say that he lost his license and so on. Again, you see, 2 months ago, the Interministerial Committee, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Mines and Energy, headed by Alhaji Collins Dauda, when they went to the forest, they proposed what he's talking about right now, about standing army. Collins Dauda said we should have a permanent military base in these areas, and that will solve the problem. Collins Dauda called on his own government. That government, if you want to fight this Galamsey, after touring the areas, I think we should have permanent military base, so that you don't reclaim, you don't claim to reclaim the land, the forest, and lose it again. You know why they will lose it? Because according to Erastus Asaredonko, a minister can drive and go and tell them that leave these people for them to do it. You remember last 2 weeks you interviewed him here. He said a minister can even drive and go and tell them, as for this place, leave them. Didn't we hear about Oscar Oforilabi, the MP for Our Win? When according to his own people, he was taking 200,000 for people to enter into forest reserve to mine. What has government done about these things? Galamsey is worse now, to the extent that it is now in the township, in the hearts of town. And you're telling me that it was worse then? You might have gone through the forest and be doing all these things. That's what I'm saying, that there's nothing new. We had military people in the forest chasing them. The same thing you're doing right now. What are you doing differently? On the repeal of the law, you don't replace the law, you repeal it. You said you repeal it. When you repeal it, no one can venture into forest. They will not even come to you to say that they will want any license to mine in the forest again. Because before that law in 2022, you couldn't have mined in the forest. So we have laws already existing. So why do you have to replace the law again? Repeal it, as you said, so that at least we see the commitment. I was surprised some of the people were saying, Kanashibe, in rating the government, said in terms of fight against Galamsey is 30%. I don't know how he arrived at 30%, but I think it's worse. If I'm to rate them, I would say they are done 7% because they were continuing what we were doing.
Okay.
Nothing new.
Okay. Richard, let me go to you and then I'll do
just a quick one.
Yeah.
I still want to maintain my position that Ghana is an indisciplined society. I maintain so because, you see, it is high time we start practicing the hybrid management model. This issue of democracy, where everybody does what he wishes, we are not going anywhere with this approach. Let me tell you, the Asian Tigers, Malaysia, Singapore, all these guys, they were just like us. Okay? Until they had leaders, they were practicing some level of democracy, but they had leaders that were strong. They had fist hand. Because let me tell you, any society in the world, be it in a white man's country, if they get the opportunity, they will misbehave. Everybody is like a human nature, they will misbehave. So until you are able to put in proper punitive measures, okay, discipline to the core, that is the only way you can combat Galamsey. I want to see when people are arrested for Galamsey or activity, they should be paraded and lashed. They should be paraded and lashed publicly.
Amnesty International will come after you.
No, forget about Amnesty. Is Amnesty International going to give you water to drink when you don't have one? Forget about Amnesty International. Forget about human rights and all these things. We say to you that the same people you are claiming you want to protect them as human beings, they are behaving like non-humans. by looking at only their self-interest, only their stomachs. So if you have a country where people put their stomach above the country, it is appalling. We must whip some of them when the need arise. And we must be able to give them proper punishment that generations will come and remember that, look, some people were doing ABCD. This was the approach. The senior man sitting here mentioned about the Rawlings era. Why didn't we see some of this indiscipline in the Rawlings era? Because there was fear that was instilled in the people, okay? That here is a no-go area, so you therefore have no right to go there. If you go there, the law will deal with you. But if you have this situation where democracy, politics, everybody is behind the scene, doing what they want to do here and there, where do you expect to win the fight against Galamsey? So at the moment you arrest some people, you know they are illegally mining, bring them from wherever they are, bring them to Independence Square, let the entire country be there, let them be whipped. Do that for some couple of years and see whether they will not run away.
You remember when Joe Wise, that time second deputy speaker, no, first deputy speaker, said that we should shoot and kill them when we see them.
There should be something deterrent enough.
He was almost killed in this country when he said that. That was in October when he said, oh, when you go there and see them destroying the livelihoods of people, shoot and kill. And people berated him in this country, especially the opposition.
No, let us be serious.
Okay, let me engage our viewers a bit and then I'll come back for us to continue. This one over here says, good morning, KMJ. Let's be honest to ourselves. Can you maintain what is spoiled for years within 4 months? Wow, you were in power for 8 bad years. You couldn't stop illegal mining and you are expecting someone to stop it within 4 months. Wow, try and speak the truth a bit for Allah's sake. Someone Nasi sent in that one. Let me go to this one over here. It says, the NPP is just trying to make something out of nothing in Samit Jemfi's case. The NPP is behaving like they never did worse things in their 8 years during voting time. The monies were shared publicly to buy votes. Nobody says anything. Instead of you to try to stop lying and hypocrisy to build your party, you are here massaging flimsy issues. Is there any law in Ghana not to give money? Don't any of you ever give money to anyone before? Please give us a break. All right, let me go to Alaji Hamza, and it says that, good morning, my brother. I totally agree with some of the comments made by Richard this morning. I think our community leaders where Galamsey is taking place must be held responsible. The chiefs are also the problem. My brother, Galamsey cannot take place in a community without the knowledge of our chiefs and community leaders. In my humble opinion, I don't think Awal and his NPP party has the moral right to talk about Galamsey. When people are talking, how do you expect President Mahama and the NDC to use 4 months in power to solve a problem that you could not solve in 8 years? The evidence is out there for all to see. The NDC government is fighting this fight with all seriousness, but we need to do more, you mean to say. All right. This one here says, good morning, Joy Prime, and to your panelists. The illegal mining activities is suicidal genocide. These people do not mean any good for Mother Ghana. The government should do more than it's doing to flash out these guys. Where the drones that were bought to help fight Galamsey, those who were in charge must be held to account. Honorable Azuri Philip from Dulugu electoral area, Bolga East. Let me go down and see some of the messages over here. And Meshach Asante, he says, truth be told, I initially was not happy when I first saw Samit Jemfi's video, which he was giving money to Agrada because I thought we the grassroots deserve more than her. But I immediately changed my mind when I heard the video of Agrada saying what actually happened before she was given the money by lawyer Samit Jemfi. According to Agrada, she asked Samit Jemfi for help, and Ghanaians would have said a lot of negative things about Samit if he had denied her that help. So I can't see anything wrong in what he did. Okay, let's go to some other ones over here. This one says, good morning. Is it not the same micro-minority which gave the license to all those Galamseyers? I was in Western North in 2019 when people from NPP I knew they know nothing about mining were given license and started mining left, right, and destroying water bodies for their selfish interests. They should sit down quietly and learn good governance from JDM in case they will be considered after 83 years when they will come into power, so they do not misbehave again to the citizens. And that's from Jake Women. I'm not sure Awal would want to wait for 83 years before before coming back to power. This one says, good morning, great family. Enjoy your midweek. Okay. All right. Let me go to this one over here. And it says that, hi, stop NDC propaganda and be fair and upright with your judgment. Okay. Okay, so let me go up a bit and check out what Sami Wache is saying. Sami Wache in Asamankasa says, this matter of Sami Jemfi has been on my mind, and I have heard numerous NDC propagandists comparing it to Madam Cecilia Dapa's case, notwithstanding the fact that Cecilia Dapa has worked for over 40 years and her husband is a renowned architect and businessman. The question remains, if Sami Jemfi has not yet received his pay, where did he obtain those dollars from? Additionally, Zagrada, a needy person in this country, Cecilia Dapa, was sacked during her incident, so will Muhammad take concrete action? Your guests are equally knowledgeable as mine. Okay, all right. Good morning. I'm Eben from Kwabinya. See those demanding the sack of Sami Jemfi, the Nano group in the parliament have no shame at all. And if I were them, I would shut up. So soon they have forgotten the shame of torture and opulence living they left us into. What Nanabi, the least said about him, the better. These NPP guys have no moral right at all to call for the suspension of Sami. Regards to Hajia. Okay, so we've got, let me do this one and then we'll go back. This one says, good morning, KMJ. You are missed. Oh, Charlie, I'm here. The fight against Galamsey can't stop if we're doing the politics with it. We are in this country when the NDC executive got into a fist fight with an army, as reported by Rastus Asari. Yet we haven't heard anything. The land minister is saying the reality now, but has realized that he has lambasted Akufo-Addo for far too long for absolutely nothing. He should stop the crying and do the work. As in his own background, illegal mining is on the rise, as reported by Rastus and shown on television on countless times. No one is against fighting Galamsey, but we should fight it without wearing any political lenses. I'm afraid if the current government can fight the Galamsey menace, as they made a lot of promises to people that they would be allowed to do mining. Thanks very much. Nantom Do sent in that one. Let me go to this one over here. Kefrim Pong. It says, good morning, KMJ. This whole issue of Galamsey is very worrisome. With the case of Konongo Odumase, this unfortunate act and Galamsey generally has been going on in Konongo for a very long time. MPP members were heavily involved in the past. The sad part is that currently the NDC and the executives in the municipal have also taken over. They are doing Galamsey like there's no tomorrow. Some same place recently experienced explosion, all due to Galamsey activities. The MCE on me has yet to be confirmed. KMJ Sami Jemfi case is a test case for the president. How he handles it will determine if indeed he mean his words. Came from Paul. So a lot of people are very interested in the Sami Jemfi issue. I think that it's been trending for a very long time. I don't know when we're going to be getting out of this conversation, but
it's a serious issue.
It is. It is, Richard.
And KMG, I want to plead with the government of the day. I want to plead with the government of the day that, in my language, they say, what is bitter, you cook it in a bitter pot. Okay. Okay. You don't use your normal regular pot and be cooking absolutely bitter things. Yeah. The Galamsey issue is a future issue we are talking about. We are talking about posterity. We are talking about generations that will come after us. I want to see the seriousness of the government by giving us, at least from the government position, a weekly update. A weekly update. Just like we did with COVID? Yes, like the input and the output. So that at least we can measure that and stand on that to be speaking. But if they will just be in abyss and be telling us that we are winning the war against Galamsey, I will want to differ from that.
All right, let's make progress.
Let me give him a little update.
Okay.
99 excavators have been seized so far. 208 suspects so far arrested, according to the police. Okay.
the same old story.
Forest Commission has not brought their own yet.
Okay, sir.
Same old story.
A lot is happening, though.
Same old story.
You're not happy about the arrest.
You see, the thing is that
even if we keep arresting and bringing them, it's not the same.
There's one thing about arresting, the other about getting them convicted and jailed. you can arrest 200 people. You can arrest 200
and they will still be
people.
left.
No, you can arrest 200 innocent
the
people.
The truth is that
the most important thing is that how many people have you put before court?
Involved.
No, how many people have you put before court? That's very important, but not arrest. Because you can go and round up an area and pick innocent 100 people. And they can go to court and they will be exonerated because they are innocent.
Let's wait and see. At least I'm happy now that excavators are being seized.
Oh, but they've already been seized over there.
We even burnt them.
Oh yes, you were burning them. What I'm saying is that at least something is happening. The Forestry Commission can now hit their chest and say, listen, the 9 no-go forest reserve that we used to have, we couldn't even go for patrols. Now we are taking it back and we are patrolling there. Akunta money has been flushed out of the forest. Now they want to even do reclamation there. It is some good news for me. Let's work and make sure our river bodies are also cleared. The coast, the river guards have been commissioned. They are also doing their patrols. Let them all help so that at least we clean our river bodies. I believe as time goes on, it will get to a point. I like the bit about getting the communities involved. You see, once the chiefs, and Otumfo started it, by sanctioning some of the chiefs that
he just told many of them
was so intense in their area. I believe it should get to a point where what Muntaka called for, the local government minister should also call for it. If you're a DC and Galamsey becomes devastating in your district, you should be given the knock. You should be given the boot out. If you're a district commander and you cannot control Galamsey, you should be transferred so that somebody with the energy to fight it and then the commitment to fight it should come to your place.
Okay.
If you're a regional commander, those things should keep happening. At least we'll get some results.
Okay. You are in power now, so that's in your hands. Now let's move on.
It shouldn't be advocacy.
That's in your hands.
It shouldn't be advocacy.
The interior minister committed to it. The interior minister said it. That is what
but a lot of people want to see the action.
Well.
but once the
just like you mentioned that transfers and all of these things should be happening.
Once the interior minister has instructed the IGP to do that, it's an actionable point.
Okay. Master Planner Junior Kintampa says, great submission, Senior Awal Mohammed. The fight against Galamsey was supposed to be a national fight, but NDC made it political and did all the propaganda against President Nana Addo. I find it ridiculous and laughable when I today hear them saying it is a national fight, so we should all come on board. Reality will always prevail and wash away the lies. They should fight it head on. In regards to Haji Safia Mohammed, incoming MPP, National Women Organizer. And that's Master Planner. Now let's move on to the next topic that we want to look at on this issue. But of course, we'd like to say a big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise, kindest courtesy. Franco Trading Enterprise, we've got news flash. Now make sure you buy from them. They've got the gadgets for you. So walk into any of our branch and you can buy your gadgets from there. TV, CCTV cameras, phones, microwaves, all those gadgets that you need. You can get it when you walk into Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise says still phones pop up here. Download the app. It's Franco Trading app on Google Play Store. Give us a call on the numbers you see on your screens and make all the inquiries you want to make. Now, the Attorney General's office has formally charged former Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund GIFT's CEO Solomon Asamoah and also Professor Christopher Ameyakunfi, who was the board chair. Now there's a case. Now, Oral seeks to actually achieve most of these things. And to some people, it's very exciting that we're making progress in terms of how we're able to, charge certain people who we believe that have caused financial loss to this state. Now, this was a $2 million case, SkyTrain fiasco. Now, do we collect the monies from them? I'll start with you, Hussein. Do we collect the monies from them and say, you know what, if you're ready to pay the money, let's just let these people go? Or we still pursue it, so it becomes a deterrent to other people who probably will be doing the same in this government administration?
Yeah, KMJ, the truth of the matter is that I think, let me just try and let my brothers understand that it is actually not a dash. The race is not a dash. It's not 100 meters dash that you quickly finish. No, it's actually a marathon. So
a long
they should
one.
prepare for it.
A long one.
Yeah, because this is just
there are many others that are coming out.
This is just like opening a book. That's the preface.
You're not going to be hitting into the introduction and all of those.
The forward is just like the preface, the forward, and the rise. No. This is just a preface, because we've not even gotten to the National Cathedral, $58 million.
We're going to get there?
So an independent, how do you call it, audit institutions are doing their auditing on the National Cathedral. How monies were moved from government consolidated fund, where we say we're not going to use government funds, how we were able to dig the most expensive hole in the world. They are investigating all that. And once they finish with their audit report and they bring it to the Attorney General, we'll go in.
Just like we're seeing with the train issue now?
The OSP issue with Ken Ofori-Atta is a separate issue. We've not even gone to the airport frontiers, COVID test and those things. No. We've not gone to Sputnik V, where the minister was, excuse me to say, crazy and decided to just do his own things. We've not gone to those ones yet.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot we're looking at.
Oh, yes. So that is why the oral report is voluminous. So I can understand Ghanaians' demand for accountability. My brother, KMJ, the SkyTrain issue, I'm happy it is going to court, because some of us even thought it was just social media creation.
I mean, initially when it started.
Yeah, we were thought, but how Ghana lost $2 million in such a deal, only God knows. Because how do you invest in a SkyTrain when you have, excuse me to say, almost a scrap walking like as a real train on the ground? And what happened to this train that crashed a so-called car somewhere?
It was meant to be fixed. In fact, they brought out the amount of money that would use in fixing that. But that was the last that we heard of that issue.
Unbelievable. And we don't know where that one... So, by all means, there will be investigations into that one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, by all means. And trust you me, Ghanaians want accountability. And like the Attorney General said, he will not rush to court only to look for evidence. He will gather all his evidence before going to court. And I'm sure, just like, and you realize that, I'm not sure even the SkyTrain and Edubahi were so much in the oral report. These were just outliers.
Yeah.
So we are yet to zoom into the oral report itself. And like the president said, this country financially was managed like a crime scene. The financial recklessness at a point was almost like a crime scene. And I know Ghanaians cannot wait to hear the real truth about how our finances were managed in the last 8 years. And then how that can become a guide for the future. Because it is not just about actually seeking accountability for accountability's sake. No. When President Kufuor came in and Victor Salome, Kwame Pepra, and the rest, Chachus, and all were being jailed, Abodaki were all being jailed, it served as a guide and as a deterrent for, excuse me to say, most of his appointees. Do you understand? So, yes, they were not so brazenly, excuse me to say, financially reckless as we saw in the last 8 years. Yes. Because there was some little, Victor Salome is there. This person was charged for financial loss to the state. But when after Mills, John Mahama's time, where John Mahama actually even jailed his own colleague and friend in parliament, it was like, okay, let's see what Nana... And Ghanaians voted for Nanado because they trusted him to be the best protector of the public purse. Unfortunately, he came and took the purse away. And that was what happened to Ghanaians. So, for me, this is just a starting point. And I'm sure, I'm just praying that there wouldn't be... because if they can organize a press conference on Sami Jamfi I'm sure by all means there'll be a press conference on this one because now they are a bit idle. So press conference is one of the ways they will let Ghanaians hear from them. But I'm sure the Attorney General that I know will not just go to court and then come back and look for evidence.
Okay, so this is a win-win for us.
For me, Ghanaians want to know what really happened in this SkyTrain matter. Seriously, because I still can't believe how we spent 2 million in this. So at least let the case flow in court.
So we all get to understand the merit of it.
How did it happen?
Okay.
And then at least, Peter Mewu is still in the country. He should come and tell us where the train is. At least they should locate it. There's a workshop that is being repaired at. They should let us know so that at least we can go and deal with it.
Okay, very well. Thank you very much, Mr. Fuseni. Let me move on to our... Richard will have the last one.
Yes. I'm laughing because, you see, I remember in 2009, early part of 2009, that was what myself and him were doing. Excitedly saying that there are people who are supposed to be jailed when... Asabi and his wife were traveling. They were arrested in the airport. You understand? They did all these things. Put 13 people before the court. They didn't get a single conviction. 13 were sent to court. They didn't get a single conviction. But in 2008, the campaign myself and him were doing was that we were mentioning people. This time we were not even, the last time they were not mentioning. We were mentioning people with amounts of money in front of them. Has been Tim, a few other people, Osei J and others were mentioning Tarzan. We did all these things. But what happened? There was no single conviction. My brother says that when Abu Dhabi, Kwame Pepra, Victor Solomé and others went to jail, it served as a deterrent. It didn't serve as a deterrent for any NDC person. You know, the NDC is a corrupt political party that has always been appointing corrupt politicians. If not for the NDC, there's no single corrupt politician in this country. I'm telling you, if not for the NDC. So because almost all those who have been jailed, I'm telling you, 11 people were convicted. Former Mahama appointees. 4 were jailed, 6 were jailed. Yes. Just under Akufo-Addo. Let me mention them. You see, they did not learn any lesson. When we came, Abuga Pele was already standing trial. In 2018, we sought the conviction. Mahama did not do that. He only put him before court. And at that time, even Manasseh, who did the story, said that there were other big fishes. Abuga was only used as a scapegoat because there were ministers who authorized some payments and so on. The court was clear that Abuga was not a beneficiary of the thing, but he authorized them. And he was incarcerated. That is the first one. The second one is NCA. Eugene Bafuboni, the brother of now the prisons, the brother-in-law of the woman now heading prisons. He is in jail as I speak right now. They stole 4 million Ghana. He, together with Alhaji Mumina, who was a deputy national security coordinator, who was a relation of former President Mahama. President Mahama, sorry. They were not cleared. They are still in jail. Who cleared them? They are still in jail. It is only Alhaji Mumina that last year.
Cleared on what grounds?
Who will clear them? They are still in jail. It is only Alhaji Mumina that last year, owing to ill health, President Akufo-Addo gave him presidential pardon. That's it. Then the venture capital. You were asking him a question. Whether they should pay the money so that we leave them. It is
because at the end of the day,
they have not really said they are guilty. Trial has not started.
Yeah, but if we get to that point.
I'm saying, yes, it's true. The venture capital, we got 4 conviction. 4 people. Daniel Doku, the CEO of venture capital, who was appointed by President Mahama. Irene Atimensa and her husband, Frank Abuaji-Mensah. And one other person, they admitted that they stole some amounts of money. And they decided to pay. And they have paid. That was the reason they were not jailed, but there was conviction. These are appointees of former President Mahama. You understand? And again, Sedinam Tamakulu. And one other person. So did they learn their lessons? No. That's why I'm saying that in the history of this country, the only politicians who were jailed by a competent court of jurisdiction are NDC people. So all these things that they are doing, that's the reason.
And those things were facilitated by who? The NPP.
The NPP. When the NPP came to government,
because if the NDC is jailing their own people, like you mentioned,
there's no single person
who jailed them. It wasn't the
NPP. We said that these people are corrupt. So we said it in 2000.
So you can use the court to jail them.
When we said it in 2000 that these people were corrupt, were able to get them convicted by competent courts.
You were able
in
to
2016, in 2017, Sednam Tamakulu, who manipulated the court for Sednam Tamakulu to
manipulated the court against Chatuchikata.
Who manipulated the court against?
Just to get a conviction.
Who manipulated the court against Dada Burapi?
That's
Ibrahim
the
Adams.
same court you used.
It is Ibrahim Adams.
It was the same first high court you used.
So the recent one, Eugene
but who doesn't know the ways and means you were doing? According to Japa, the AG has been doubling in going behind the scenes to see judges. So the AG has been doing ways and means at the court.
But he had his time. He had his time.
Yes.
I'm saying
so
that.
all along the things we were doing, they were all ways and means. There were no proper trials.
So Sednam Tamakulu was not a proper trial?
Well, according to
the NCA was not a proper trial.
At least now we know what the AG has been doing.
The venture capital that they all, the venture capital guys that they all admitted that they stole the country's money and they are ready to pay, was not also a mistrial.
Well, do you see these two people coming out of this case as victors?
Honestly, I can't tell because they are yet to open their defense. Even though I listened to Ken Kranchi, who is a lawyer.
I'm asking because I feel maybe you have some knowledge because you're party members.
Ken Kranchi, who is a lawyer in the case, is saying that the man, he is a lawyer to Professor Amir Okunfi. He said the man will escape on health because he believed that his client is innocent. And the client was the one who even walked to the NIB when they invited him and they arrested him and did everything. What I'm saying is that I am happy this case is in court because, you see, the media trial is becoming too much. This is the first time you have Attorney General coming to do about 3 press conferences, but he has just charged 2 people. Why? They are deliberately doing that to tarnish the hard-won image of people. Because, you see, the venture capital that we went to court, there was no press conference by any Attorney General. The NCA that we got conviction, there was no press conference by any Attorney General. The Masrock, that is Sednam Tamakulu, you go to court, then you prosecute your case, then the person will defend. Then the proceedings will be recorded by the journalist so that it will be made public. But this time around, they do the media trial, and at the end of the day, if the person escapes unhurt, you have hurt his image. Because, you see, that is the reason Adubuahi is in court. Adubuahi, after you did the first press conference in February, you said he has bought 27 houses, and so he said, send me to court. You didn't. You waited until Adubuahi had to counter-sue you, to sue the government and say that for the first time in the history of this country, we've never heard it, that an individual who has been accused of something will sue the government because he was
arrested and in custody.
He was always saying, so
send me to court.
Send me to court.
He was
you did press conference in February.
You've forgotten about that.
You arrested him in February. You didn't charge him. You left him in custody for close to 2 months. It was just last week that you sent him to court.
Again.
You understand? So what I'm saying is that the man is saying that you have tarnished his image. The media trial must stop by the Attorney General. We should focus on it. We are not shielding anyone.
Is it not because of how they started that we want to be very, very transparent with the people?
That is it.
So if we're doing we want the people to know that this is what we promised you.
So why will you come and say someone has, you pay your training, even if you've seen something, you say allegedly.
Yeah.
But the Attorney General was saying that the man used the 8 million to buy houses, to do this, to do this. He was making conclusive statements. It's one of the reasons why. It's one of the reasons why.
Was it not based on the?
I'm saying that it's one of the reasons why Adubuahi is in court, that he has tarnished his image, because the properties he mentioned, some of them were not his.
Let's see how it
didn't belong to them. But you mention it now that this man is really corrupt. You didn't even know the man was even elevated to deputy CEO under your tenure. You only heard Adubuahi, so they were thinking that it's related to the 1992 Adubuahi, our presidential candidate. Not knowing that this is someone who has been working there for over 20 years. He was elevated to deputy director at that place, deputy CEO by President Mahama in 2015. He served in 2016. When we came in 2017, we saw his expertise and so on, and appointed him.
At that time, Signals Bureau was not being managed.
The same office.
No, it wasn't being
It's the
managed.
same office. It was not changed.
Let me help you. It wasn't being managed as he's managing it under Nanado.
It's the same office.
It wasn't an armed unit, but he turned it under Nanado into an armed unit.
No.
So he was managing it differently under Mahama?
Yes, it was just Signals Bureau. You deal with all the... If I can go into details, Signals Bureau is supposed
it was
to
an amendment by Parliament to expand their work.
No.
It wasn't he.
No. It wasn't
himself
supposed to be
doing
armed.
Just
as
as where he works now, it was NSS. An amendment has made it NSA.
An authority.
So it was an amendment that made it what it is today.
No, it wasn't
amended.
You're talking of arms.
Yes. To change it to make
Today,
it like
as I
that.
speak, do you know that Narcotics Control Board, they use arms now?
No. They call the national security.
They use arms.
They use the
Where?
national security.
Ask in their training
NACOP
today.
use national security.
NACOP use arms now.
No.
They are trained on arms using. You can ask.
NACOP.
There is an amendment.
When did that start?
Stand by force for them.
Just within 2 years. There's an amendment.
So right now,
NACOP, they can use
you see any
weapons.
NACOP official, they got arms with them?
Yes, they have sidearms. I'm telling you this.
When NACOP wants to do
It's something I would want to find out.
Yes, you can cross-check. You can cross-check.
When NACOP wants to do operation, they fall on the national security.
They
that
do
gives them either
collaboration
police
to assist
or
in terms of
the national security standby
They
force.
do collaboration.
That's what they do for them.
They do collaboration, but they
NACOP
use
police
don't carry
force. No,
arms.
they can't.
They use arms now. Even forestry commission.
Yes, forestry
they also
guard.
use
Yes,
arms.
forestry
But
guards,
initially they were not
use
using.
arms. No.
Initially they were not
Forest
using arms.
guards have always been using arms.
No.
Forest,
You see-
wildlife guards have always been using arms.
Wildlife, they do, but the other
They
forestry
always-
commission
no,
they
no,
don't
no.
do. Now
Forestry
they use
commission
it. So you
guards
see,
have
if
always
there's
been
an
given the chance to
amendment,
use
why would we
weapons.
have to even split hairs on this? If there's an amendment to make the place the same office that he was deputy CEO, is the same office he is now.
No, Signals Bureaus has nothing to do with arms. Arms and ammunition.
I'm surprised that I'm saying that.
They don't have
the man.
a place to be arrested and keep
You're working.
people.
You're working with Joy Prime as a host of this show. Then an additional program was added on this show, and you are still continuing to work as maybe hosting entertainment in addition. I know you do, but I'm only giving the scenario. Nothing has changed because it's the same office, but the additional responsibilities has been added. So why do we have to split hairs on this?
And this was done by Parliament?
Yes.
Or it was done by just
Parliament. But you can't. Adubuayin cannot change anything there. It's Parliament.
Parliament didn't do that.
That's why I wanted to establish the fact that it was Parliament.
I'm saying
Anyway, wrap up for me. Let me go to Richard.
Cannot add arms there.
You
can't do that.
He's part of the
You
issues.
can't do that. Which part of which issues? Which one is he prosecuted on?
You see,
you don't just talk
your
as
job
out of
is to deal with cyber. Do you understand?
So what is
you
the
deal with
cyber
most
security
of
also
our
doing?
communications
So what is the
in
office of the cyber security
Let me
doing?
help you a bit.
No.
You see,
Let me finish. Let me finish my submission. I'm saying that what we want to see is for the government to walk the talk and stop the press conferences. The press conferences are needless.
Okay.
The most important thing is that when you send them to court, the reporters that you want to know what is happening will go to the court and report from the court, just like it happened yesterday. They went to the court, and the reporters were there, and we have all the charge sheets, and we know why they are being kept there. Whether they are innocent or not, some of us will be happy to see that whoever has occupied any position in this country and is supposed to be incarcerated or is supposed to pay something back to this country will be happy, because one of the ills of this country has been corruption. And I told you that those perpetrating the corruption, if you check, a lot of them are public servants. But if you narrow it down to politicians, it is the NDC and their roots. From the year 2000 up to today, from 1992 up to today, there is no single person who is an MPP person who has ever been jailed for corruption or causing financial loss to the state. Okay. But almost all close to 20 people who were jailed in this country, that has given we politicians the bad name as corrupt people. They are all NDC people.
Very well. Richard.
Yeah, KMG, first of all, I want to submit that finding someone in jail does not necessarily make him guilty. There are so many people in Ghanaian jails today, in Nsawam here and there, who are actually victims of a biased legal system that we have in Ghana. So there are many people who are in Nsawam today. They are actually innocent, be it criminal, be it political.
There's no innocent person in prison.
There are so many innocent people who have been jailed today in Ghana, not of their doing, but they do not have proper legal representation. Some, they don't have the financial resources. Some, the judgments were screwed against them.
And you're making this in reference to
general. I'm not talking about politicians.
Okay. You see, in this country, there's no person who will be jailed without a lead.
No, you can't go there.
No, you can't go there.
You
can request
for
the state to give you lawyers.
No,
yes, but
the legal aid system in Ghana doesn't even work.
It's there.
Oh, what I talk? How many lawyers in Ghana want to do pro bono?
But the legal aid is there. They are paid.
Many lawyers don't want to be on
that's the reason Dr. Bauria said if he had been voted as president, every district would have one lawyer.
My lovely brother, I am not disputing all you are saying. All I'm saying is that let us speak for the innocent Ghanaians to understand that there are many people in Nsawam and other prisons today, they are actually innocent. They have been jailed unjustifiably.
There's no one who is innocent.
So when you are...
He says he's making a general statement.
But there is a Justice for All program that goes there.
No, that's true.
And listen to the case.
You and I also...
But you were interjecting me when I was talking.
I want to know what I'm saying. I'm not talking about politics. I'm not talking about... You see, he is narrowing it to say that the people who have been jailed, who are political activists or players who are jailed, they are NDC folks. Let me leave that because I'm not an NDC member, so I'm not here to speak.
But you know the history.
I am coming. Now, on this issue of the $2 million payment and all these things, KMG, Ghana has a huge infrastructure deficit. From the day we overthrew Kwame Nkrumah till today, Ghana, we have a huge deficit in terms of infrastructure. And transport sector is the cardinal sector for growth and economic transformation. And if you look at our transport sector in Ghana, it is predominantly a road transport system. It is in these few days that the aviation is coming in. Even with the air travel, it is virtually limited to Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, Accra, Tamale. Are you getting the point?
Yeah.
So even if you are talking about 16 regions, the interconnectivity of the 16 regions is still virtually by road. We are not investing so much in rail infrastructure development. And rail infrastructure development is what Europe and all the big countries used to develop. From the ancient time, Europe zeroed in on locomotive trains, where they made sure that there was proper interconnectivity between cities and communities and everywhere, using what? Train. Train is the safest and the most economical way of transporting goods from your farm gate to your commercial capitals. But here, ask yourself, I'm just reading a story that says that 30 people lost their life on Monday. 30 Ghanaians lost their life. Some were on U-turn buses and they collided with another tipper truck and something, and 30 people lost their life. If we should zero in and put in proper investment to connect at least Accra to Kumasi by rail, I would have taken this country as a group of people who are being led by intelligent people. If for 57 years to 60 years we cannot connect Accra to one of the most busiest destinations is Accra Kumasi
by train,
then we are just a bunch of jokers. We are not serious as a group of people called Ghana, to be honest with you, because the north is where the food comes from. And if you cannot do it to the north, let them use the road to bring it to Ashanti region, connect it with train from Ashanti to Accra, and it can go everywhere. Then we can talk about reducing food costs. But if you are here still beating our chest that we are the gateway to Africa and we cannot be successful in one subsector of the Ghanaian economy, then I beg to differ. We are not being led by any serious group of people. Now, some of these train projects and all these investment projects, they are conduit for corruption. Some of these highfalutin ideas of we doing a sky train, when like my senior brother is saying, the ones on the ground, you've not been able to fix them. The ones on the ground, you've not been able to even retrofit some of them. The ones on the ground, we said we were doing in Pakadan, Accra to Pakadan. Since when did we commission the rail line? Up to now, there's no activity going on that rail line. Very soon, you see the scrap people zero in there to destroy the lines. So we are a country that we take one step forward and we take 2 steps backwards. So if $2 million can be thrown to the dogs, okay, for no work done, I will want to see the Attorney General follow this issue to its logical conclusion. Because we cannot sit in a country. Do you know what $2 million can do? Do you know the number of state plantations that 2 million can set up? Do you know the number of entrepreneurs that giving them $2,000 or $3,000 each, multiplied by 100,000 Ghanaians? Do you know it will amount to something around $2 million? Do you know how many people just need $1,000 to invest in their business that they can even employ additional one hand? You see, the synergy is not there. The synchronization is not there. The alignment of government policies and programs, they are not there. Government is always ad hocly launching program, a Jumawa program, and Puntun program, training of 10,000 people, but the alignment and the synchronization is not there. That is why you see in business, anything you do, it must synchronize. It must be intertwined. One thing must lead to the other. If you are doing A, it should be measured by saying that if you do A, B, C, D, this is how it is going to catapult us into the next stage of our world as a people who are serious to solving our problem. I am not against people going to court and to go and defend themselves. But if $2 million can be paid to Africa Investment Holding, or whatever they call themselves, and up to now, there is no iota of where that was done that we can even say that when you go to Malam Junction, Ali, they pitch camp there to suggest that they brought one container of some goods from South Africa that suggests that they are about to start doing some feasibility. We didn't see anything. But 2 million gone down the drain when we are here begging caps in arm, going from Malaysia, Singapore, going to Bangladesh, Myanmar, every country in the world. Ghana is looking for opportunities to go and just go and beg. And when you go and beg the money and bring it, you disburse it on unnecessary, frivolous expenditures. We cannot move this country forward in this regard. So I am advocating that the Attorney General, as Awal is saying, he should also not be doing public fanfare. We mean serious business.
You don't like the approach?
Well, society is evolving. Society is evolving. Nothing is cast in stone.
Awal doesn't like the approach, but
if maybe the Attorney General thinks that it's an innovation, maybe that is left to his discretion. But in other jurisdictions, I don't see this happening. Where maybe
you don't think it's because of the accountability?
Which accountability? What to call the accountability?
No, but like I said, maybe that is his approach. Maybe this approach. The law does not prevent him from doing that. There is no constitutional constraint that says that as an Attorney General, you cannot organize press conferences to brief the country on issues that you perceive you intend to follow up. So that one, it is his prerogative to decide on that. But like I am saying, that the corruption embedded in this country is too much. It's escalating. So if 2 million can be thrown from nowhere down, we should look for the money. There should not be jail. Professor Meya Kunfi and all this. Professor Samoa, they should not be jail. I don't want any jail issue. When they are found guilty, we should confiscate all their assets. Even the bed they sleep on, we should confiscate
Richard, hold on, let me do something. Nia Javi says, why do we grant these NPP guys opportunity to speak the way they do? Is it because of politics? If this is how politics is practiced, then it doesn't make sense. 5 months ago, they were in charge and they didn't know what to do. The original chairman, Wuntumi, was at the forefront. They could not stop him from bringing these guys to the studio to get us nervous. Okay, relax. Awal Mohammed is clearly peddling misinformation and falsehood to suggest that this government has done nothing different from the NPP in the fight against Galamsey is not only unprofessional but also a clear sign of desperation. Unlike the previous administration, we've seen real, swift action. Entire communities have been ransacked in operations to clamp down on illegal mining under the capable leadership of Lands and Natural Resources Minister Honorable Kofi Boah. The government has even recruited water guards who now serve as whistleblowers in this fight. These are decisive steps that show commitment, not lip service. All right, so that's Musa over there sending his thought. Okay, so let me go to this place and see if I can find more. I missed. Okay, let me go here. All right. Master Planner says, great submission, Senior Awal Mohammed. The fight against Galamsey was supposed to be a national fight, but the NDC made it political and did all the propaganda against President Nana-Addo. I find it ridiculous and laughable when I today hear them saying it's a national fight, so we should all come on board. Reality will always prevail and wash away the lies. They should fight it head on. In regards to Hajia Safia Mohammed, let me go to Jimman. It says that, okay, he just says hi. That's Sajman Solomon over there. I guess that will be all for the messages on Facebook as well. And let me see. Okay, so let's see if we can do a few WhatsApp messages if I've got the time to do that, and then we'll say goodbye. This one over here. It says, good morning, Joy Prime. Sami Jemfi's dollar gift may not be fatal, but an act of indiscretion to be avoided. Yes, he heard and also apologized for his mistake. So let's tamper justice with mercy to forgive him as a first-time offender. Sami must extend his kind gesture to the youthful who are still jobless and struggling to make ends meet. I also need my share. So all this, your pardon. This is where it stems from, man.
Everybody.
You know, hey, much of what is said about Awal Mohammed reveals a lot about his failures and questionable ethics. He doesn't speak the truth and consistently defends his party members' wrongdoings while harshly criticizing others. A clear case of hypocrisy and double standards. Salam Ben Nuhu, combat sent in that one. This one over here says, good morning, KMJ. Please let me remember a while. The late Professor Mills played a father for all. That made former president appointees was free from going to jail. By this, no father for all is no more. President JM jailed Abuga Pele under his government and not MPP. Nana-Addo came to power and free Abuga. Awal should stop lying. We Ghanaians are more clear than their concern they are having. Okay, so that's Daniel from home.
Abuga was jailed in 2018. The trial started under Mahama, that is true. But it's in 2018 that he has been given presidential pardon, is true, because of ill health. His chiefs went to visit him. After that, they went to the president, and they said, yes, he's around. Yeah, he's around. He's in Accra. Yeah, thank God.
Teacher Kojo says nobody should fall for probes against Sami Jemfi over dollars gifted to Agada. The outcome will be that no wrongdoing is established. How can a government, if that came into office and immediately dismissed all cases against the party members, now conduct any action of fairness in an incident involving one of them? Greetings to the incoming constituency chairman of the share, so Osubempa, and chairman Odino Kuapia. Okay, Kuka sent in that one. Okay.
Why wouldn't me still coming? Unless he's coming for national.
Yeah, that's yeah, he declared his intention.
Coming for national.
People vote for. Well, we leave it to you.
Hey. My wife, I'm surprised you are.
Oh, no, I just say we leave it to you.
Yes. No, it's a decision by the delegates. If the delegates think that at this point in time is the one we need. Check our chairman.
You are not a delegate, master.
No, I'm saying that. How do you know? You wouldn't know.
Delegate.
No, you didn't know.
Or you also got
Will he have your vote?
The delegates have not been constituted yet. And again, we're doing some expansion of our...
Say you are learning from us.
No. We're doing expansion of our electoral college.
Why are you scared to learn from us?
We can't learn from you because...
You are not institution. You are going to now establish a party school. When you bastardize that...
He's telling you the reason why they can't learn from you.
Because when they decided to expand it to all party members, it was chaos.
But now
they bent their offices in Atebubu and some few other places.
Now we
no, they were not successful in expanding. They had to go back again.
Now we
had to narrow it.
150,000 delegates now.
We did 250 before you even did 300.
No. We did ours first.
Who?
You were doing the...
We did 5 before you even came.
We did all party members.
And there was chaos.
So at that time, they had been successful with
exactly with ours. Ours, we have tried tested ours.
To all the members.
No.
And that one created a whole problem.
You bent offices and so on, so how do we learn from you?
You even in opposition, you are starving. Thank you, Sofika, you are starving.
That'll be my time this morning, gentlemen. A big thank you to all of you for coming through. Richard Suma joined us this morning. He's leading member for the Movement for Change. Awal Mohammed.
We beg you.
Oh, he says you should sit on the bed. Awal Mohammed is National Communications for the MPP.
But he said, if found guilty, that's why
he's the bed.
Yes. But what would they do with the bed?
We'll sell it, we'll auction it.
A very big thank you to Hussein Donkos for the Deputy Director General of National Operations at the National Service Authority. Thank you so much, Mr. Hussein, for joining us this morning as well. And congratulations to you. Yes, we wish you the very best.
Thank you for having me.
That place, we all know what...
have interest there.
I'm a farmer, so I'm farming.
Another thank you for your messages this morning. We appreciate you. And a big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise. Let me say a very good morning to Dr. Lawrence Hammer and Ebenezer Hammer. They are brothers, and of course, they were in charge of Cocoa Safari. Very good morning to the two of you, Dr. Lawrence Hammer and Ebenezer Hammer. A very good morning to you. They are the owners of Cocoa Safari in the Central Region, doing some amazing things over there. And you should just check it out one of these days when you find yourself in the Central Region, somewhere after Sueju. You will love it. Anyway, once again, a big thank you to you for making time.
1 second. Yesterday was the birthday of my other colleague.
Ruth De La Sedom.
Okay.
The Deputy Director General of Finance and Administration.
Great.
She actually sits on Gift Your Worries seat.
Why did we have to get there?
No, just for clarity.
You see the media trial. You see the media trial.
Just for clarity.
You see the media trial.
I want you to change the chair.
She has changed the chair actually. And she has actually changed the office.
Okay. So on that note, we wish her well.
Happy belated birthday.
Belated one going out to you.